Awesome. So if you do miss out on anything during our session today, you can come back and we'll try and upload the recordings later on. Otherwise, you could always just send me an email or give me a call either. And yeah, we can go from there. So first of all, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you so much for giving us some of your free time after school. I know it's precious, so we don't want to keep you up for too long. But yeah, today we're going to be talking about what we have on offer for next year. And the reason that we try to kind of plan these webinars for this year is to help you with your process of planning when you head into 2023. So hopefully we'll be able to plug in some of our key dates early so that you guys will be able to participate, and hopefully you'll be able to join us on some of our things that we're on offer. Cool. So before we start off with everything, I'm just going to do a really quick karakia. So whakataka te hau ki te uru, whakataka te hau ki te tonga, kia mākina kina ki uta, kia mātaratara ki tai, e hiake ana te ata kura, he tio, he huka, he hauhu, tihe, mauri ora. Awesome. So today we have our educational prospectus, which we're going to be going through. For each of these different offerings, we're going to be just chatting about, like what the program is, what the vision or the outcome that we see for this program or for each of the program's offerings is, what age groups are appropriate. We're going to give you some key timelines and dates, and also let you know how to be involved with each of these, whether that's through filling out expressions of interest or just emailing us, just so that you guys don't get left out of the loop. Also, we're going to be chatting about where to find additional information for each of these different things. And then the one thing that I wanted to stress for each of our programs for Beautification Trust is that everything is completely free. So there is no cost to getting involved with any of our offerings. There might be limited availability, but in the essence of trying to make things equitable and as cheap as possible for schools, we underline most of the costs. So everything that you guys get is completely free of charge. Cool. So start off with a little bit of a vision and mission. If this is your first time hearing about us and you're kind of like, who are these people? We are a small charitable organisation. We're based out in Manurewa, so we've got our offices just off of the Takanini on-ramps. But we've been a charitable trust for the last 20 years or so. 20 years ago, we started off as a graffiti removal organisation for the 6 southern local boards in Auckland. Through just like trial and just time, we've actually changed our mission and our focus to really encompass the communities that we look after, the people that we serve, and also the environment that we all share as well. So we have a vision of inspiring communities to love and respect our environment. And we also have a mission of connecting and empowering our communities to learn, to love, and to look after the environment as well. So some of the things that we do, we still do graffiti removal, but we also do educational festivals. We run, you're going to hear all about our educational side of it soon, but we run an on-site boomers program. We get involved with lots of town and stream cleanups in the past as well. So anything that is restoration for the environment that really is for our communities is something that we want to be involved with. And schools are just one part of that story. So really here to chat about how we're going to be offering things to schools next year. Cool. So just on the screen, we have our team. So Dawn is our community manager. She's on the call today and she's going to be chatting through some of our programs. I'm the community educator. So my role is mostly going out to help facilitate some of the projects that schools are interested in. Usually if anything to do with educational schools comes through our trust, it comes to me. Erin is also on the call today as well. She's our community coordinator, so she helps out our communities in our volunteer groups too. And then we also have Carolyn, who runs our CRC, which might be new for you guys, but our Community Recycling Centre. It's brand new. We also have Emma, who looks after trapping and pest management in South Auckland, specifically in Manurewa and Papakura. And we also have Charlotte as well. So she's our volunteer and schools coordinator. But together we make up your community team. If there's any queries or anything, any questions at all, they usually come through us, and we're the ones who help to put together projects and just really listen to what you guys have going on in your schools, because we want to know and we want to do our best to support you as well. So that's who we are. All right, so we've managed to separate our two, all of our programs into one of two categories. So the first category is our key events, our projects, our big kind of signature things that we do throughout the year. That is going to be our Eye on Nature events. Eye on Nature is quite special to us. It's been going for about 10 or 11 years now. But yeah, really awesome events that happen in South Auckland. And we'll kind of chat about the year-long programs or all-year programs a little bit later on as well. So if you've never heard of Eye on Nature before, Eye on Nature it's a program that's kind of, it was created to get kids thinking about sustainability, thinking about how they fit in as well, thinking about their impact on the world in a way that isn't so highbrow. So what Eye on Nature is across 3 terms, we have the school days, we have wearable arts, and we have creative arts as well. Most of them are project-based learnings. We ask kids to kind of investigate their own environmental interests and then make work and do workshops that complement those interests or that just kind of speak to the learnings that they've been doing in their own time. So it is self-guided. For school days, which is in term 1, our dates for next year are booked in to be the 13th to the 16th of March. For wearable arts, which I think a couple of people on the call have been involved with before, that's going to be on the 22nd of June. And then the creative arts is our term 3 project, and it's going to be from the 23rd of September to the 8th of October. So I'm just really going to quickly go through what the school days is, and then we're going to watch a little video. So yeah, Eye on Nature School Days, we invite schools that have year 5 and 6 students to come to the Auckland Botanic Gardens. We link in lots of different partners who work in sustainability, and they come and do some amazing hands-on learning with the kids. So if you are a teacher who teaches year 5 and 6 students, we would highly recommend filling out a bit of an expression of interest form if you haven't already. There is a little bit of a selection process, but we do try and accommodate for as many schools as possible. Some of the awesome things about this day is that the kids just get to do things. They get to learn in nature. They get to kind of understand the value of it as well. And they get to be taken outside of their classroom. Again, we pay for everything. So the buses are completely free. All we need is just teachers that are really excited to come along and a classroom full of year 5 and 6s that are keen for this environmental learning. So some of the other key information about it is we do send out some pre-packages. So we send each of the classes a little bit of a gift, I suppose, or just a little kit of learning resources so that they can start thinking about the theme. And the theme for this year is all about waste, rubbish, waste minimization, litter, all of that kind of stuff, landfill, recycling. We're asking kids to be thinking and just be mindful of the things that we're using and how where it goes after they're finished using it as well. For our Eye on Nature School Days, it is only open to South and East Auckland schools. The reason being is that those are the local boards that fund us to be able to put on these amazing events for kids as well. And if you are interested, again, just head to our website, put some details in, and then we'll put you on a bit of a mailing list so that we know that you're interested and locked in. Oh, even though it says 13th to the 16th of March, it is 1 day per school. So you're not going to be expected to block out an entire week. It's just 1 day. But yeah, I'm going to show you a really quick video before I hand it over to Erin. So let me just do this. Just so you can kind of get an idea of what Eye on Nature is, especially if you've only been involved when we're in COVID, because this is what the magic happens in person. So you can see the kids all coming, they're all turning up. We put up marquees for each of the different partners. Lots of different kids at the same time coming as well. Lots of different people sharing their knowledge too, so local experts sharing with local schools. Cool, so that was just a little taste tester of what Eye on Nature is like for the school days. Again, it's really different, it's really fun. It's also always themed as well. So that little clip was all about water and water sustainability. Again, next year is going to be about waste and our impacts on the environment. But speaking of waste and impact, I'm going to hand it over to Erin, who's going to be chatting through our wearable arts program in term 2. So thank you, Erin.
Kia ora, thanks, Sterling. Yeah, so Wearable Arts is the second program underneath the sort of umbrella of the Eye on Nature educational prospectus. It's one of my personal favorite programs to run just because it has so much creativity and fun involved. This program is open to primary, middle and secondary schools. So we cater right across those 2 to 3 year sort of educational stages. And basically it takes the same theme as we had in school days, which, as Sterling mentioned, is waste. And students are challenged to take that theme and respond to it in a creative way, make their own interpretation of it, research, design, and then construct a piece of wearable art. They don't only just need to respond to that brief, but they are also challenged to think about the kinds of materials that they're using to make these garments. That kind of looks like thinking about where their garment is going to end up after they're finished with it. What's the end of life? What are the environmental impacts of the things that we use to make clothing, to make art, and starting those conversations about the impact of everything and how they can be part of hopefully a more sustainable approach to that in the future. We encourage them to think about how to use natural materials, how to go back to basics, how to design in a way which is sensitive to our natural environment. And at the very end of the program, we have a big fashion show, which is a lot of fun. We hold it at It's now called the Dewdrop Event Center, but you probably are more familiar with it as the Vodafone Event Center. So in the Big BNZ Theatre, inside that venue, we have seating for hundreds and a big catwalk where the students can model their designs. And that is also the night that we have the prize giving for the best of the best. And there are cash prizes up for grabs, and we make it a really, really fun and exciting night for the students. We have lighting and music and performances, and we try and celebrate their effort as much as we possibly can, because every year the standard just gets higher and higher, and kids really surprise you what they come up with. For example, this year's program, the theme was around Kai and sustainability with food. We had students interpret that everywhere, as far from overall packaging waste to celebrating our native bees, to Kai Moana, to focusing in on one specific food and the impact of that. It's really up to their imagination and how far they want to research that and see themselves as part of the solution. So one of the really awesome things that we also offer along this process is Sterling has delivered some amazing workshops with some of the classes involved with wearable arts, where it's getting them to think about those kinds of things, how to use natural materials, how to incorporate sustainability into your design. And those happen in term 2. The show is in term 2, but we strongly recommend, if you want to get involved in this program, to look at making it a 2-term project. So starting in term 1 for the research, concept design, and construction part, and then continuing that construction into term 2 to be ready for the show at the end of June. So the main benefits of this program is it teaches students how to meet a brief and how to make deadlines. It also gets them to work collaboratively in a team with other people that they may not know or be friends with, and also how to problem solve. Making these garments are not easy, as students quickly find out, and there's a lot of adapting and redesigning and figuring out how they're going to make it work, which is a really, I think, unique opportunity for them to do with each other. And also, when we finally get to the fashion show at the end, we put on this big production for them, and it's a really unique opportunity for them to take that step with confidence. Getting up in front of people requires a lot of courage, and we have some very nervous kids, but kids who come off at the stage at the other end who are just like, wow, that was so cool. I feel so glad to have done that. So there's a lot of different levels of value in it that I see. And yeah, like I said, it's one of my personal favorite programs. A lot of growth and development you see in kids with this program. And yeah, if you want to get involved with wearable arts, we have a expression of interest form on our website, and there are some more details about the program there. But if you're looking for more specific details, we once we receive your expression of interest, we do follow up with things like info packs and the judging criteria, that kind of thing. So that's a brief overview of the program. I believe we have another short video just to kind of show you a bit of a snippet from last year's show, and just kind of a bit of the atmosphere that was going on.
Welcome tonight to the Beautification Trust Eye on Nature Wearable Art.
The Beautification Trust is a charitable trust that is very much on a mission to connect and empower our community. We want to protect the environment and install all that we can through our programs that we operate.
You're going to see garments created by Auckland primary, intermediate and secondary school students at this Eye on Nature Wearable Arts Fashion Show.
We ask students to think of a sustainable issue and they're allowed to express that creatively in the wearable art garments. The entries have been just incredible, such a high calibre. It's just so cool to see it in person and look at what they've actually created. The levels up here, it's amazing.
This will be our 4th year of doing wearable arts and it's grown each year. We have huge interest at Somerville Intermediate and we work over 2 terms to get the garments created.
So we put out it to students who wanted to be part of wearable art this year, and basically we've met with the students every Tuesday for about half an hour and we've just sort of supported them in their design process, and they've been able to bounce ideas off each other in like a group setting, almost like a little mini workshop class.
What they've learned is how to meet a brief and how to read through the rules and the judging criteria carefully. They've learned how to work together in a team and to time manage, and they've learned how to do things like think in a construction way and how to connect materials and how to source materials, find materials, yeah.
So it's 100% made of recycled things, all found on beach cleanups.
These are from National Geographic to show what is in the ocean and why we should protect it.
It's been really good for them to actually look at recycled products and to see how we can repurpose them.
My dress represents nature. These are supposed to represent the waterfall and the air curtain is supposed to represent the rocks. My garment is the long white cloud. It represents the water cycle. So it goes from a cloud here into the river, which then goes down into another cloud here.
There's about $3,500 worth of prizes up for grabs tonight, so well done again to everyone.
They're so excited. You just have to walk around tonight to sense the excitement. I think they're really proud to be part of a show that's put on in the community. It's a real event, it's collaborative where more than one school is taking part, so it's a really exciting thing to be part of.
In first place for the primary section tonight, from Papatoetoe Intermediate, it's Ollie Gifu! With
It was absolutely awesome. We're so excited.
I would definitely say give it a go.
Give it a go. It's amazing what the kids will show you.
I've seen a lot of growth in children that have been taking part in this, so it's extremely valuable.
I'm so proud of them. So proud of them.
Cool. So that's a bit of a taste test of the final show and what the kids can expect on that night. So that's probably enough from me. I'll pass it back to the team to go over our next one, which is creative arts.
Yeah.
Hilda.
Oh, thanks, Erin. I'll just quickly run through creative arts. So it's quite a similar setup to our wearable arts program where it flows on from our Eye on Nature school days. We have the same theme, which next year will be waste. But this is our Eye on Nature project that happens in term 3. And we also try and target a younger audience with this project. So it's all about looking at the Eye on Nature theme, researching behind it, and then coming up with a creative artwork that represents what they've researched, but also speaks to the different materials that they've used to produce it. So a lot of it is repurposed materials or things that they found, recyclables that they can make into other things to just give them a bit of an extension of their life into something that can really showcase what they've learned about. We do open this up to our kindergarten and ECEs as well as primary schools up to year 8. So we do have 2 categories in that, our kindergarten and primary school. And it's just a really cool way to get the kids being creative about what they're learning potentially in class already as well. We know a lot of the kindies and ECEs talk a lot about sustainability in ways that resonate with young kids, talking about getting them out into nature, into the garden, just sorting their waste from an early age. So this is a really cool way that we can really start to amplify those messages that they're learning. Much like the Wearable Arts, we do have cash prizes and vouchers up for grabs for the winners. And then at the end, once the students have created their artworks, we then display them in the Auckland Botanics Garden gallery space. And it's just such a beautiful space, and it always elevates the work that they've done. And we keep that open for the entirety of the school holidays, so the public and the community can come through, they can vote for their people's choice, and they can also just see the awesome things that our tamariki are getting up to. It's open to our south and east schools within Auckland, and that again just comes down to the way that our trust is set up with funding from the southern local boards. So if you are looking at getting involved in creative arts next year, we do say that it runs for the entirety of term 3, with the exhibition happening in the holidays. So you do have an entire term to work on that project. If you want to get a head start, you're more than welcome to in term 2, but we'd love you to be involved in Wearable at the same time if you can be. But if you would like to express your interest in creative arts, our website's not quite geared up for that in terms of forms just yet, but you can always just email our team directly. So you can email Erin, or even if you click on the form on our website, it will give you Erin's email address to let us know that you're interested, and we can send you through all of the details next year, once we've got through our Christmas crazy time. Cool, I will hand you back to Sterling.
Cool, thanks team. Yeah, so Eye on Nature, again, it's just our baby. We just love it. And it is such a fun thing. It's got a little something for everyone. And it is really important to start having these conversations with our kids as well, seeing as they are going to be the future kaitiaki. So they just getting them involved and getting them buying in at this level of their learning is really important to us. So what we're going to move on to next is our year-round opportunities. These are things that will be available throughout the entire school year. So if you miss out on Wearable Arts, or if you miss out on Eye on Nature for 2023 for whatever reason, you can always link in with us at different points of the year. I know that sometimes schools have lots of different things kind of juggling around at the air at the same time. So you reach out to us when you're ready, and we'll try and make something happen between, for your kids. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about is something called Adopt a Park. Adopt a Park was initially an Auckland Council, specifically Auckland Parks initiative. There's a lovely woman, her name's Anna Bain, that was going around and helping schools by linking them into a local space that was accessible to them, whether it's right on their front doorstep, whether it's accessible through the school van or the school bus if they had it. And then we would put together some conservation activities for kids to practice being conservationists in their own local space, in a place that they're familiar with and that they don't have to go like halfway across the city to get to. So if you are interested in adopting a park, the best way to get involved is to actually email us directly. There is a little bit of considerations that we have to chat through beforehand. The main being like, where is there an appropriate park to practice all of these things? And we just need to check that there aren't a whole bunch of other volunteer groups. Otherwise you get lots of overlap and suddenly it's clashing with everything. Some of the activities that we do though, we try our best to organize a planting day. So always with the native plants that would be Indigenous to the areas that they're going in. It's an amazing chance for kids to learn about trees and plants and restoration of those natural spaces as a way to combat things like climate change and all of the CO2 gases in the atmosphere. It's an awesome way to link into that. Some of the other activities that we can offer, we do animal and pest control in those local parks. Litter collections, bird counts, water quality testing if you do have a local stream or a pond that's in the park that the kids can access as well. But there are so many other things that the kids can do. We've done graffiti paint outs, we've done mural projects for the parks. The idea is that the kids go back at least once a term. They do an action that is a conservation action and they build a little bit of a connection with their local space as well. So their parks stop being just like the thing that you walk through to get to school, and it starts being somewhere that they identify themselves with and that they feel proud of, and that they contribute to the well-being of as well. So Adopt the Park is pretty fun. And again, just give me an email so that we can set up a bit of a Zoom discussion if you are interested in partaking in Adopt the Park. Yeah. What's the next one? Erin, I'm going to throw the talking stick to you again.
Cool, thanks, Sterling. Yeah, so part of my role as community coordinator is also to run some of these initiatives. Basically, these 4 arms of our community and project support are to do just that for the community. If you see a need in your local area, or there is a group who are trying to achieve better outcomes for the environment and for your neighborhood, these are there to support you or those groups to do that. The first one is our Tiaki Fund. The Tiaki Fund is a grant for the costs of an environmental or beautification project. If you're looking to do an environmental or beautification project with your students, there are some eligibility criteria, but if you head to our website, there's a full list of details there. And it's just to provide that extra boost to people who are already doing great things in the community to achieve those outcomes. The second arm of our service, I guess, is what we call the community tool library. It's what it sounds like, but instead of books, we have everything you might need to run your own cleanup project, planting, or even a mural painting session. There are a whole stock of all sorts of tools, gardening tools, painting tools, planting tools, and they are free to borrow for community groups and schools. So if you head to our website and look for the community tool library, we have an online portal there which you can use to create an account and book out certain items, and you can loan them for your project and then return them. So we've had some great success with it so far. And it's just all about increasing the accessibility for people who just want to get out there and get stuck in. The third one is our community compost. This initiative is quite reliant on when we have a delivery of compost. We don't have one at the moment. So it is advertised as it is available. The Papakura area has a food scraps collection service, and those food scraps are composted commercially, and we have every now and again access to the compost that is created from that. So we offer that out for free to schools in the Papakura area, and also to some community groups as well when it is available. So stay tuned to our social media and website when we may have one coming up. I believe we're going to have one in probably March next year, so keep your eyes peeled. And then the final one is the creator space. This is for groups or schools who would like a space to activate, to whether it be a workshop or a meeting or just a creative session. It's a space where you can hire for free to do that, and you just need to get in touch with Sterling or through the details on our website, and let us know about your project, what you'd like to do, and we also have space inside there to do practical, like hands-on projects and things. So it's an awesome space, and we've had some great school groups coming through to do some really cool projects so far. So if you're interested in that, just get in touch with myself or Sterling, and we can take it from there. So yeah, that's a very brief overview of some of our other offerings, which are year round. And yeah, they're really just to support the people out in the community who are already doing that good work. And we want to be able to uplift those people, because it's community change is always best when it comes from that grassroots level. So that is the thinking behind these initiatives. So yeah, kia ora. I'll pass it back to Sterling.
Yeah, thank you, Erin. Okay, cool. So this year we have made a bit of a partnership with Pest Free Urban South. So Auckland Council is helping us to set up some trap lines so that we can teach kids and community groups around pest-free education. So we have a big goal of being predator-free by 2050. It's a massive, massive, massive issue. It's also sort of a bit of a like invisible issue as well. So we do have lots of rats. We have lots of possums as well in Auckland. Not so many stoats, although not in our urban spaces, is what I'll say. But one of the ways that we're trying to help is by providing free education sessions, workshops, and free equipment for schools. Currently, we're doing this in Manurewa and Papakura. But if you are interested in just having a workshop, please just get in touch with us as well, and we can try and link something up with you guys. So Emma, who's in that top right picture, she's our pest-free expert at the moment. Her and I will go into schools and we teach kids about our native taonga species. So those things that we are trying to protect, the things that unfortunately have had a massive decline in the last 100 or so years, things like our beautiful bird species, we are trying to help them out by doing a lot of pest trapping. So for these workshops, they are either in class or they are in field. For the in-class one, that's where we start by kind of teaching kids about adaptations, why our taonga species are so unique and special to Aotearoa as well. They will learn a little bit about the pests that we are trying to catch. For schools, it's mostly rats, with the occasional possum as well. We don't do any stoat trapping with children, and that's just because the equipment is a little bit too much for schools to handle. So we teach them the theory behind pest-free Auckland and all of our trapping expertise as well. If you are interested in setting up trap lines in your either your local space, sometimes even in your own homes or schools, then we can help you set it all up on the app that we use is it Pest Trap NZ? It's Trap NZ, there we go. And we help you figure out how to put the data in, and eventually we're trying to build a bit of a picture around what's actually happening in our environmental spaces, in our gardens, in our parks, all of that kind of stuff. Yeah, so if you aren't in Papakura or Manurewa, just give us an email anyway, because there are other people out there that we can put you in touch with. So yeah, that's our pest-free traps. I think, is this one you doing?
Yeah. I will just quickly work through this because I know we're on nearly 3 minutes to 4 o'clock. But just to let you know, if you did want to do any beautification activities within your local spaces, we're more than happy to work with your school to talk to your students about graffiti prevention, and then potentially putting some actions behind that, which often ends up in being community murals or murals for your school. So we do have the resources available in terms of tools and equipment. Educators, we've got a team of graffiti removal specialists, and a couple of them are very artistically minded. So we're more than happy to come to your school, chat to your kids about graffiti prevention, and give them that kind of opportunity to talk to someone who's chosen that as a career path and who has made something really positive out of their lives. This does just stem from our trust being set up on a graffiti removal contract for South and East Auckland. So I guess as a side plug, if you ever see graffiti within South and East Auckland in your community around your school, if your kids are seeing it, do feel free to just get in touch with us, report it directly to us, and we'll get our team out to remove it. And then to help prevent it in future, we can help create beautiful murals in those spaces. So we have these opportunities available year round. A lot of it is subject to funding in terms of what we can find and what we have available. But yeah, if you're interested, just get in touch and we'll always try to do our best to make it work. I will hand you back to Sterling.
Well, thanks, Dawn. Yeah, so the very last thing that I wanted to kind of touch base on was our brand new recycling centre. So you may or may not know, but 5 weeks ago, we finally opened our community recycling centre. It's a place where people can bring in their things that they can recycle, and we will responsibly recycle things. We accept things like Tetra Paks, batteries, we accept so many different things, and all you have to do is bring it into us, and we have some experts who are there to sort everything else out. The other thing is that we have noticed that there is a lot of I'll say conflicting information about our waste systems in Auckland, and it is very, very difficult to follow along with and understand. So one of the things that we're hoping to offer next year are some interactive tours of our community recycling centre. We're hoping to be able to educate some of our community groups in our schools around how our waste is actually sorted out in Auckland, where it all goes, what things can be recycled, what things cannot be recycled, all of that kind of stuff, so that we can hopefully have people who are conscious of putting things into their household rubbish, and then know where they can take their other rubbish as well when they're finished using it. So keep an eye out for that. We are really excited to start this up. It's been a really long time in the making. And if you are free, and if you're just looking for something to do on the weekend as well, we've also got a reuse centre. So it works like a bit like an op shop. People have donated so many different things. It's always full to the brim. There's lots of clothes and they're awesome quality. So feel free to come and visit us from Thursday to Sunday. That's when it's all open. And if you've got some things that you've been meaning to donate, feel free to bring them along as well, and we can accept them here. But yeah, that comes to the end of our educational offerings. If you do have any questions, because I know it's 4 o'clock on the dot, it's not too bad, pretty good timing. If you do have any questions, pop them in the chat box now and we can address them, or you can always just send them through to me. My email's up on the screen, so sterling.review@beautification.org.nz. And we will get back to you. But yeah, I hope today's been just like really helpful in helping you to plug in some key dates and plans for next year, and all of the things that you guys have going on in your schools. Yeah. Does anybody have any questions at this point? Or is everyone kind of just like itching to get away? Cool. I've got my eye on the chat box. I can see that some people said that they'll be in touch. Oh, thank you, Rebecca, and Christine as well. If you don't have any questions at this point, I'll just say the closing karakia so that people who are busy can head off. And otherwise you can stay on and just chat to us. So kia whakairia te tapu, kia wātea ai te ara, kia tūriki whakataha ai, kia tūriki whakataha ai, haumie, huie, tai kie. Awesome. So thank you guys so much for joining us today. Yeah, if you have any questions, just give us an email and we'll respond when we can. Otherwise, thank you so much. And I hope you have a really lovely period of break. Yeah. I hope everyone's got some good holiday plans lined up. Cool. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Do you guys have any last things to say, Dawn, Erin?
No, have an amazing holiday break, and I'm sure we'll be working together in the new year.
Yeah, thank you to the teachers and everything that you do. And yeah, we look forward to maybe hearing from you in the new year.
Cool. Thank you. See you later. Right, how do we stop recording?